Welcome to special stage. It's wet, it's windy, it's epic. If you go rallying in Wales, sooner or later you'll end up here. Welcome to round 5 of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Series. It's the Nicky Grist stages, and boy do we have a battle on our hands for the title as the championship powers towards the summer recess. John Cotton, Jill Cotton on the stage as you watch this first stage of the day here live with the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. 5 points separate our top 4 drivers at the top of the standings. Reigning champ Elliot Payne here with a slim margin over Aaron Newby, a point apiece then separating Matthew Hurst and Russ Thompson, who has to be said is punching well above his weight in this year's Gold Star. The Silver Star's close as well. Boyd Kershaw doing that flying Kiwi thing at the top, a little way ahead, but eminently catchable, especially as Neil Andrew, Robert Goff and reigning champ Rob Wright are the escorts filling Kershaw's mirrors, figuratively speaking. And one of the Bronze Star, as we watched the Bronze Star, the 1400s, making their way through this stage in reverse seeded order along with the H1, H2 historic cars. A category back on an upwards trajectory, it has to be said. The maker of Stars of the Future, the maker of rallying folklore. Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to need a rocket ship to catch points leader Nigel Jenkins. We'll see from him and Kaz Jenkins very soon. But that aside, you have to say Lewis Hooper's doing the very next best thing in that rally first spec micro. Splitting them, though, and holding family honours is Mummy's little squirt, Luke Watts, Chris Greenall, Paddy Homan, Ashley Francis Adams, and a whole host of drivers will all be in the hunt for more championship points here in Wales today. 3 rounds remaining, no modesty now when it comes to intentions on these stages. The title very much in our drivers' and co-drivers' minds as they head towards the mid-season break. 44 stage miles lie in wait. The rain is coming down. Tyre choice then will be critical. These are famous stages and not always for good reasons. Elvin Evans, Damien Cole, we just saw from him in the Zero car in his Road Rally Spec Mark II Escort. Frederick Arlin are among the names engraved on the trophy in recent years for the Nicky Grist, formerly the Quinton Rally, and with a history going back to 1980. You could say today's victory will be historic. Goodness me, do I like seeing this car on the stages. Ed James from Rally Nuts crew was giving me a bit of a blasting in the petrol station this morning for my obsession, ridiculous obsession for Mark II Escort, Mark II Cortinas. Miles Chamberlain, Nick Wilkins in that H1, H2, Mark II Ford Cortina. We're starting off today then with a short, sharp blast through Lynlogin, 3.5 miles. And you're watching it right now. Joe Evatt back on the stages here in the Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Star category here in the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. Richard Wise alongside in the MG ZR. Nice to see Joe back out. After this, our crews have got a 7-mile test through Cricken, followed by 5 miles of halfway, and after that, same again, broadly speaking, through Monument, almost 6 miles to end the loop, and we do the same again this afternoon. We're going to be live for you in Lynlogin both times, and Phil Bramwell will have coverage from the Welsh Championship in between our live broadcasts from the Monument stage. So you've got basically all cars live, weather conditions permitting, technical conditions permitting. Had a few technical issues this morning to speak of, but we won't go there. And we'll have plenty of rally coverage for you throughout this 5th round of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. Iconic stage names, a compact and fast route which will surely favour the brave, particularly in these conditions. The rain really coming down now. Let's go rallying in Wales as the battle for the 2023 MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship resumes here at the Nicky Grist stages. Danny O'Shalov, Shannon Turnbull there. Equal 13th in the Bronze Star standings in that little Ford Fiesta. Beeping the horn as they went past us. Not sure if that was a mistake or whether they were just pleased to make it to the live cameras. We're only about 1.5 miles, just under 2 miles perhaps, into this first stage of the day. So it's a bad day in Wales if you don't make it to the first of the live camera positions, isn't it? BTRDA-rallyresults.co.uk is where you need to be if you want to follow the order as it comes through live. I am juggling. It's not, it's not too bad if it's just wet or if it's just windy, but if it's both, it's a struggle. So I'm going to be juggling various things today, so you might have to keep me updated on the live results from home. Wherever you're watching today, great to have you with us, despite the weather. Or should I say, in spite of the weather. This will be a cracking event. Good atmosphere and service this morning as you see Freddie Camp and Stephen spear through in their glorious Mark 1 Escort. Quarter bumpers just turned up a little into the centre of the car. True Mark 1 Escort rally car style. As you see the cars come into view, they're taking a 90 right at a junction onto tarmac, gravel to tarmac. Let's not over dramatize things, it's only for a few hundred meters, but gravel onto tarmac is always an interesting thing to do, particularly on gravel tires, particularly in the wet. And that's what our crews are doing. As you see there, the Sunbeam just going back onto the gravel, 90 left around the bales, back onto the gravel. That is Julian Burley with Emir Hall alongside, not registered for championship points. But clearly not here to make up the numbers as far as the event is concerned, as you can see. I'm going to jump under producer Wayne's umbrella here, because I tell you what, actually, I might just stand behind you, Wayne, actually, in your silhouette today. We are going to struggle. Do you know what? I should come up with a new system for these notes, shouldn't I? I could just laminate them, I suppose. That's very 1980s. It's not new at all, but it would help. It really is wet here. I don't know if the cameras are picking that up. Probably not. As you see, the man who was giving me jip in the petrol station this morning for my ridiculous obsession for Mark II Cortinas. Normally, of course, I'm talking about my equally ridiculous obsession for micro kit cars. And there is Ed James. Charlie Mason alongside in their Rally Nuts Nissan Micra 1400 kit car. Inside the top 10 as far as the points are concerned in the Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Star standings at this point, 9th to be exact. 4th place just outside the podium positions in the title hunt for 1400 S points. The Bronze Star made up of the various 1400 classes, including Rally First. And that is what you're watching right now. If you're just tuning in, this is a special stage. I'm Paul Woodford, and this is live coverage of round 5 of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. It's the Nicky Grist stages, wherein Glyn log in the first stage of the day. 3.5 miles. It's a short, sharp blast to wake our crews up and get them into these iconic Welsh stages, and the weather will be playing its part as well. The rain coming down heavily now in this first stage of the day. Tyre choice on people's minds. Will they have started on the tyres they'll wish they were on when they get to this halfway point of the stage? Who knows? Will Banks, Matthew Badley, we're looking forward to this event. Will posting a picture. It's always good to see. I remember that feeling from when I used to compete, that feeling of having the car all ready, it's all clean, it's all spick and span, it's all spanner checked, and your service rig's all ready, and you just feel like you're good to go. You've gone through the ritual of cleaning everything, only to get it dirty again. And I did see Will post on Facebook to that effect yesterday. Bit of a mixed bag for Will so far. 8th in the Bronze Star category, 4th in the 1400 C class to start the year at the Malcolm Wilson. It was a DNF. After that, 3rd in the Bronze Star, 2nd at round 3, and then last time out another DNF. So he needs some points on the board in that little Nova here at the Nicky Grist stages if a championship campaign is going to be mounted at the moment. 4th in 1400C, 8th in the Bronze Star overall is not bad when you consider the machinery and the competition around him in that leaderboard. A little out of position, Calvin Evans. Lucy Gutter is there in the Nissan Micra, not registered for championship points. Just to clarify something I feel is always important for you to know, the narrative we are talking about today, the points battles, the class battles, are all the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship points, classes and fights. We will be covering all cars live, conditions permitting. I always like to put that on the end just in case, today on the stages, but the story today for us is all about the BTRDA, so please bear that in mind when we're talking about the battles. Conrad Boss, Jeff Crabtree in their RS 2000 there. I know on some events when you've got other championships mixing the billing, it can be a bit of a struggle to pick your way through the results on the live results. Today, though, although we do have different championships sharing the billing, the BTRDA boys and girls will, I'm sure, be on top. It should be a fairly straightforward linear leaderboard for you to follow at btrdarallyresults.co.uk. I can't believe how wet we have got in the space of half an hour. I have rainwater running down my face, which I know this is not very good radio, but I put sun cream on this morning. Boyd Kershaw and I were, well, having a bit of a friendly disagreement over what we thought the weather would do the other day, and let's say the fact I put sun cream on probably lays bare my position on things. And well, Boyd, if you're watching this in the queue to start the stage, you win, my friend. It's very wet. And that sun cream's going to be in my eyes very shortly. Getting Run Price and Bryn Moore Pierce. Good to see Bryn out in that Micra. I love a wide arch Micra kit car. There you go, Ed James. It's not all about Mark II Cortinas here. I'm pleased to say we have got an Escort Cosworth back on the entry list for this Nicky Grist stages. Last time out, we didn't. Ian Joel didn't make the trip to the Kielder Forest stages in that MRF tyres liveried Escort Cosworth. So that means we get to wax lyrical about Escort Cosworth. I know you like to do that with me here on the special stage live coverage of this MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Series. I have actually got an Escort Cosworth this morning. That actually happened. Producer Wayne handed me one of the new Hot Wheels Escort Cosworths in that Works Tiger Stripe livery this morning, which was a very nice way to start the day. Luke Watts, Matt Rogers coming here on the back of some very strong results in that MGZR. Second in the Bronze Star at this stage, as far as the point standings are concerned. First, leading 1400C convincingly. The only people stopping them from getting onto that top step of the Bronze Star podium, well, there's Luke's mum. Nigel and Kaz Jenkins out in the lead of the standings so far. Mummy's little squirt not far behind. The fastest family from the Forest of Dean. The Mummy's little squirt thing, by the way, is a private joke, which actually I don't share. I don't actually know what it means, so I hope I'm not saying anything rude. Kaz does like to wind me up and ensure that she gets plenty of family banter for the drive home. Chris Hellings, Glyn Thomas. I do love that historic Mark I Golf GTI. Chris Greenall, the next of our Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Star competitors here in the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. Be up shortly in his Vauxhall Nova. Fourth in the Bronze Star, standing second in 1400S behind that Jenkins Nova that we've just mentioned. If you're just joining us, this is the reversed seeded entry of the 1400s, the Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Star category, with H1, H2 historics mixed in for good measure. Oh, as you see, a very sideways Peter Hinton, Lewis Sim in there, Mark II Escort. Told you that mix between tarmac and gravel here, albeit only for a few hundred meters. I think there's also a little bit of tarmac at the finish of this thin log-in stage. Is well, it's just enough to unsettle the cars, particularly on gravel tyres in the wet. Go to any rally shows, Rally Day for example, you'll see the cars that are doing demonstrations on hard compound gravel tyres on the tarmac, so they can get plenty of sideways, plenty of skids. But if you're competing and you hit a stretch of tarmac after a junction from gravel, and you've got to go back onto the gravel, well, there's a bit of jeopardy there. If you want to make it through, you've got to be sensible. You're not going to make anything up on this little stretch of tarmac. But as you saw with Peter Hinton there, switching back onto the gravel, especially in the wet, it can be quite slippery. It's just a slight mistake could be the difference between a finish or not, the difference between a position you so desperately need for the championship or not. But I promised we wouldn't over-dramatise the situation because there isn't much of that tarmac, and we won't. James Dunkley, Jack Morris in their 1400S Nova, not registered for BTRDA Championship points. I always think that's a shame because we get to tell much more of a story if you throw your hat in the ring here on these events. Many of the crews doing quite a few of the events would do well to register for points. We'll keep plugging away. There is quite a, what would you say, change in road surface as well as you head onto the gravel there. As you see, Chris Greenall, James Greenall alongside, just feathering the throttle, just feeling their way with the grip on these stages. Not been used for a little while, and the top of the stage is pretty green and pretty loose. First of our competitors, the Fuchs Lubricants 1400 competitors and the Historics, will be sweeping away that top layer, ready for our Gold Star and Silver Star fields to come through in correct seeded order. And to remind you, as always, you'll be used to this now, it will be 2 separate live broadcasts. So do keep your eyes peeled for the second stream. There'll be a slight gap in between. I did wonder why we'd not had Dale Glover through, and given the arduous championship campaign they've had so far in that glorious Alpha Cert, you can forgive me for thinking that perhaps they hadn't made it as far as our first camera. But they have. They come here 17th in the Bronze Star after a very difficult season with reliability on the car. 10th in the 1400S class, just inside the top 10. David Smalley alongside. It sounds great, it looks great. It's such a fantastic car to see out, and we love the variety. So fair play to keep plugging away and keep going at it and getting that Alpha Cert out here on the stages for us to enjoy, because enjoy it we do. Talking of enjoying things, at this point in the morning, it's usually sensible to talk about what Tim Kevin Rogers has had for breakfast. He's had Rice Krispies and granola today. He's going mountain biking in, now where did he say? I think he's going mountain biking in the Clumber Park area in Nottinghamshire, Sherwood Forest or something like that. Should really be out rallying, of course, but he's going to save the posh breakfast for a brunch. He's going to have a bacon sarnie later. We always do that. It's just become a thing. Normally he has posh breakfasts, not so much today. Christopher Bush and Bryn Chicken Jones. Not sure if I need to know the story behind that one. In their Vauxhall Corsa. Bonnie Papa has an interesting breakfast choice to keep her going through the day inside the rally car. She's in with Colin Minton again this weekend. I was posting about Barney Bears being great rally fodder. And when we eventually get that behind the scenes feature sorted for you to see from the Kielder Forest stages, you'll see that the whole crew are enjoying Barney Bears there. But Bonnie Papa likes a pain au chocolat. She goes all French inside that rally car. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us what you're having for breakfast. Tell us what you're doing today apart from watching the rallying. We love to have you with us, and we love to hear where you're watching from. Ashley Francis Adams, fast driver. Just 1 point behind Dylan Fowler Bishop in the 1400 C class at the moment. Lucy Wilding alongside, 7th in the Bronze Star standings. First overall in class at the last round at the Kielder Forest Rally. And by the way, there's another reason that you need to, I know, I almost forgot that, producer Wayne, there's another reason that you need to tell us where you're watching from today on any of our live streams. That includes Phil's live streams on the World Championship as well. Any live stream today on Special Stage, you've got 4 chances to tell us where you're watching from. And if you do it 4 times, well, you get 4 shots at the entry. It's a fantastic, I won't show you at the minute because it'll get wet, but 25 years after Colin McRae Rally was launched on the PlayStation, we have a commemorative model, Hot Wheels model, and it really is cool, of a Colin McRae Nicky Grist Subaru, signed by Nicky Grist himself, right here at the Nicky Grist stages. We which will be pride of place whether you collect model cars or not. 14 consecutive years Nicky Grist Motorsport been supporting this event now. Always appreciated by the Quinton Motor Club guys and girls. So do tell us where you're watching from and get yourself in the draw to win that Colin McRae Rally themed Hot Wheels Subaru. Have a look on the Special Stage Facebook page, or I've shared it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as well. It's a fantastic thing to win today. Just one more reason to watch Special Stage and this live coverage of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. Comment on any of our live streams or all of them. The more you comment, you can have up to 4 entries into the draw to win that fantastic prize today. Here's a man who has been winning fantastic prizes all season. Lewis Hooper, Harry Stubbs in the Rally First Spec Micra. 3rd place in the Bronze Star overall standings. Let that sink in the Rally First car. Yes, they've got limited slip differentials this year. Oh, smell the brakes on that Micra as Lewis goes past his first waff of rally car smell actually today. And he's clearly been pushing hard in this first stage. They're only halfway into this 3.5 mile blast through Clinlogging. Second Bronze Star to open billings at the beginning of the season. Second Bronze Star at round 2. A DNF, big crash into the ditch at the Border Counties at round 3. And then it was another podium in the Bronze Star last time out for Lewis in that Rally First Spec Micra. A driver who impresses every single time out. Never failed to be impressed by the pace and the skill shown by that crew. And hardly a dent in the confidence last time out after that accident at round 3 either. Wow, is it wet here on Epping. As you see Jeremy Wells and Steve Suckling making their way through this first stage of the day. 8th place in the Historic Cup, coming here to round 5. 26th on the Silver Star leaderboard in that Mark 1 Escort. Four chances to catch live action from the Nicky Grist stages today. 2 live broadcasts from the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship, and Phil Bramwell will be leapfrogging us with stages in between from Monument, the last stage in the loop for the Welsh Championship. Aaron Ricks, Abby Haycock revving hard in that 1400 Mark II, sweeping their way through this lovely fast flowing section of stage after that Nadgery 90 right 90 left onto tarmac, back onto gravel here in this Glenlogin first stage of the day. Just under 44 stage miles lie ahead of our crews. Pretty short sprint stages, nice compact route, but nevertheless fast and enough to catch our drivers out. So today will favour the brave, particularly in these conditions. Ernie Graham, Karen Graham alongside as the rain batters the stage and the TV crew. Obviously. It's a long time since we've had weather like this. We had that big thunderstorm on the Border Counties, but there was no wind, so we could happily shroud ourselves in umbrellas. I've already broken one of the special stage umbrellas, so producer Wayne has banned me from umbrellas. He's broken one as well. That's the WRC spec umbrella, it's carbon fibre. Apart from the live coverage today, don't forget the Seacon UK Rally Show was out yesterday. Every first Friday of the month on Sky and Freeview channels, sporty stuff, and online across the special stage social media. You can catch it on YouTube and Facebook. Loads of action from the BTRDA, the Welsh, the Circuit Championship. Nice packed show for you of highlights. Yesterday, one for you to stick on later. Howell Davies, Ian Jones make their way through this opening stage in their Mark II. This rain set to continue for around an hour. We're not expecting it to be all day, so the afternoon loop could be a lot drier. We could see a bit of a changeable leaderboard. We always do when conditions are like this. The sun cream is now in my eyes, I can confirm. Yeah, Boyd Kershaw is going to have a smug grin on his face as he watches this back, having told me it was going to be horrendous weather. He said, have you got your raincoat? I said, I won't need it, Boyd. I won't need it. It's going to be bright sunshine. Might have the odd thunderstorm, but that'll be it. Mind you, he did say, I'll take that, so I hope I haven't influenced his tyre choice. Or his rally prep. If he hasn't taken his coat with him, he'll be cursing me in that flying Kiwi Mark II Escort. See from him very shortly. Just coming to the front end of our historic some 1400 field. Gary Smith with Emma Clark alongside in their historic Escort. And Ludlow pair. We're in Ludlow next time out after the summer recess in September for the Woodpecker stages. One of 3 remaining rounds after this, the Nicky Grist Stages Rally. We then go to Yorkshire after the Woodpecker for the Track Rod. My home rally, a place I grew up, a place that perhaps in part gave me this obsession. And then it's to the customary finish on the picturesque seafront in Llandudno for the Cambrian Rally. To end things off, there's a long way to go, lots of stage miles before we get there though, and one crew who will be covering those stage miles very, very quickly. Of that you can be almost guaranteed. Nigel Jenkins, Kaz Jenkins alongside our Bronze Star leaders. Three first place and a third, meaning that their lead at the top of the Bronze Star point standings is fairly emphatic at this stage, and they'll be looking to add to that here. So we'll be back shortly with more coverage of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. We have a couple of cars left on the stage, and then we will be putting a new stream up for you to watch, so make sure you do stay tuned throughout the day. I got producer Wayne all ready to cut the stream off then, and realised we still have a few cars to entertain us through this opening section of the entry. BTRDA registered crew Jonathan Brace and Paul Spooner, one of those. Definitely don't go turning things off yet. We need to see them sweeping through this stage sideways, don't we, in their Mark I Escort. Don't forget, if you hit the notification setting on your screen, you can be notified every single time we go live. And with us being live for every single round of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship this season, well, you'll get a fair few notifications, I'm pleased to say. A big year for Special Stage, heading into our 15th year of producing Rally TV, and it all started for us on these stages, on these rallies of the BTRDA. I'm delighted to be here, bringing you this action so you can enjoy this entertainment of the best rally championship. I'm a little biased, in the UK. Certainly the best gravel championship. That is undisputed. Andrew Stokes, Johnny Tad Evans in a car that always makes you just pause and reflect on the hands that have been on that steering wheel in the past. Come to stages like these, you do think of David Stokes. Jonathan Brace, I can hear just about coming into view now. You can see blue sky in the distance if you look very carefully above that tree line. I'm not sure you're quite going to catch it on the screen, but I am convinced there's some blue sky there. The wind is dropping a little, and the rain is still coming down hard, but I've got every faith that we're going to be a little drier for later parts of this and the next live stream. It's going very wide and getting the right side 2 tyres on the undergrowth there, just making the car very loose coming into this section of stage here. Jonathan Brace and Paul Spooner on the rev limiter. Perhaps a slight misfire but plenty of sideways to end this first part of our live coverage today on Special Stage. We hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back very shortly with all the action for the gold and the silver star, starting in correct seeded order. Our championship leaders will be out fighting. Gloves off battle as we go to the second half of the season, into the summer break. There'll be no letting off as we go into the second part of this live coverage. Stay with us here on Special Stage. New stream up shortly.